No movement on Doreen today, but we have Bubbles and a little hooch, so we're going to keep going. Now, back to the whole story. Muscle memory is truly remarkable. I floated through life appearing to function like a normal person. Even once being asked by my manager, "How are you this happy all the time?" I looked him dead in the eye and said, "Actually, we're thinking about antidepressants." I think he thought I was joking. I would be able to handle all the hard customers. When you run from confrontation like the plague, you learn to diffuse quickly. I could tell you exactly why the customer is not always right and say it in a way with a face that usually meant I won. I would write all difficult emails because I made words. Now, not being able to communicate properly is incredibly difficult, especially when I made the words. What looked like on the outside a superpower was really a coping skill that took over my whole personality. It was the biggest sign that something was really not right. Breaking free from the shackles of brokenness and healing those deep parts of my soul has led to some really hard things that I have had to struggle with. Feeling like I had to save everyone, even though it was from a good place, must have seemed like I was such a control freak. I worry that I always seemed like it was my way or the highway, but my husband assures me that in reality, I was good at making judgment calls in the moment and most people are not. And then the biggest shock to me was my sister. For reasons that are her own, my sister was estranged from our family from my mom's side after the divorce. Part of that estrangement was from my kids. Aiden and her are only 8 years apart, so they were pretty close. He was 9 when we lost contact. It shattered him. My daughter was 3, so she thought my sister was the babysitter until much later when she saw her in a family photo at my grandparents'. My sister reconnected with my grandparents privately, but because I was so close to their care, I found out by accident. And I was upset. Not at my grandparents, but at her, because why wasn't it me? When I really look at it, I was hurt. I was mad and I was hurt that she hurt my kids and me. Notice a pattern? Me, I, me, my. When the cement shattered and the dust settled, I saw everyone different, not just my mom and dad. I mentioned how I had to be the bigger person, and honestly that frustrated me when the dust settled, but with her, she was just a child. She was a senior in high school the last time we talked. She gets the hard pass, full stop. I had to wrestle with the fact that I was not the one that she reached out to. It hurt. When she was a baby, I remember holding her, I was 12, and saying to her that I would always be here for her, which is totally a weird and random thing for a 12-year-old to tell a baby. And I walked that back for a long time. I drive by my sister's house, well, her exit, on the way to my friend's house. I texted her, a voice text of course, "Passing your exit, if you want to get some coffee and catch up, I would really like that." She texted me back really quickly that she was heading down for training and mentioned how busy she was, but maybe sometime after that. I know what that meant. It meant she's not ready, and that's okay. I'll be here when she is, if she is. I hope she is. When survival was no longer my only mode, I had to wrestle with the fact that I had some ugly character traits that, though were for good reasons, were very unhealthy. My brother's fiance recently came over and had no idea that really any of this was going on. I got a little annoyed that she didn't seem to notice that I disappeared, and then I realized that because on the surface, my life doesn't look different to others. Before, if you didn't see me, I was just with somebody else. So not seeing me for a long period of time until you need me again was normal. So my not being present didn't get noticed. Instead, I'm over here, never leaving my room and processing the heck out of my trauma. When she said, "But you can do it all," I said, "And look where it got me. Broken. You can only run into burning buildings so many times before eventually you get burned. I am rebuilding, figuring out who the emotionally healthy, stable me is, with boundaries and patience for those who need more time. I am worth the effort it takes and the uncomfortable feelings that come with unpacking everything. Because when you push through those uncomfortable feelings, you feel so much better on the other side.